Halloween! Welcome to my channel. Today's video is going to be arts and crafts. I've got two different ones and they're both pretty low on the material side of things. So if you're looking for something to get you into the spooky season, then you just might find it here. This is my Halloween costume. I'm going to be a deer this year. So the first creative project is a classic. It's pumpkin carving, but I wanted to get a little bit fancier this year. I've never carved a pumpkin in a different way than just a face. So I wanted to do the kind of carving where you don't actually puncture through the skin of the pumpkin, you just create a really thin layer of art and then the light shines through the pumpkin. I think it looks so cool. I remember when I was a kid and we would go trick-or-treating, I was always really mesmerized by the pumpkins that were carved like super artistically. So this was my first time doing that and I came up with a couple different designs I wanted to try. overall, I think the pumpkins turned out super good for my first time carving pumpkins like that. They didn't end up working with candles inside. I couldn't get the pumpkin skin quite thin enough for candles to shine through. So I ended up using a flashlight, and that worked really wonderfully, so you should try that if you need something a lot brighter. My next Halloween project was stamp making or printmaking. I've been dabbling in this. I only started learning it like maybe in this last year, and I haven't made anything more than like really small stamps. Like the size of my hand is like the biggest stamp I've made so far, so this is like the biggest one I've done, which is a whole rubber pad. I was really excited to try it because I'm really excited to get into stamp making some more and be able to make big prints like that where it's the whole rubber pad. I actually did the pumpkin carving first as a way to kind of warm myself up for the stamp making carving. I thought it would be a good way to practice because it's pretty much the same techniques that you use. overall, I think the stamp turned out really well and I'm really happy with it. I made about 8 copies and I sent them to some family and friends for Halloween. I had a little bit of trouble with finding a good ink for the stamping. Usually you would have like printmaking ink and you would roll it out. As you can see, I tried that with acrylic paint and it definitely didn't work. It became very like sticky and it didn't apply to the paper properly. The best thing that worked for me was one of those like really small ink pads or stamp pads that you would use for small stamps, and I just rubbed that all over the stamp and that was the best. I actually also made some homemade ink that I was going to try stamp making with, and I did try stamp making with. It just didn't work out, so I didn't end up putting it in the video. I made homemade stamp making ink out of like burnt firewood, and then I scraped off all the black from it, and I followed this recipe I found online for creating ink, and it was a cool process for sure. It got me more into my paint making processes, but it turned out so grainy that it didn't stamp very well at all. It was very like inconsistent in its opaqueness, in its light fastness is a new word I've been learning during paint making. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you try out some of these fun spooky season arts and crafts. Thanks so much for watching, and you can find in the description my art shop. If you made it all the way to the end of the video, write Happy Halloween down in the comments and you can let me know what you're doing this Halloween. I know last Halloween was a little bit laid back. I didn't even like leave the house, so I just chilled. This year I'm going to Toronto and I'm going to see some of my friends. Anyway, wishing you a happy Halloween, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!